Batman is a character who's been looming over the Arrowverse for a very long time now, basically ever since the beginning of the Arrowverse, basically ever since the first season of Arrow. He's been referenced and then even mentioned, and then also other Batman characters appeared, but finally in episode 1 of Batwoman, he actually appeared in a flashback, kind of in the shadows. We didn't see his face, but he did technically appear, and he is having his first full appearance in the one of the episodes, or probably multiple episodes, of Crisis on Infinite Earths, being played by Kevin Conroy. That might be an alternate version of Batman, but it might not be. But I think what I think we can do here after the first episode of Batwoman came out is kind of put together a timeline for Batman in the Arrowverse. In this video, I will take all the details that we know about the timeline of the Batman of the Earth 1 Arrowverse's Batman and put them together, and also add a couple details of my own to all fit into the timeline based on what we know so far. So with that in mind, let's begin the video, beginning with the birth of Bruce Wayne. So we know that Bruce Wayne became Batman before the year 2003, so let's just say he became Batman in the year 2000. Typically, Bruce Wayne becomes Batman at the age of 25, so that means he was probably born in the year 1975. Typically, also, his parents are murdered at the age of 8, so in 1983, Thomas and Martha Wayne are murdered, and then around like 1985, a couple years later, Bruce Wayne leaves Gotham City to begin training, and then between the years 1985 and the year 1999, Bruce trains in the arts of martial arts, escape, gadgetry, driving, disguise, interrogation, throwing, language, stealth, tactical awareness, swimming, training, and weaponry, basically everything he needs to become a vigilante, who's obviously a very good one. Then, like around the 1990s, maybe like 1995 or something like that, Bruce Wayne joins the League of Assassins to hone his abilities, and we got nothing out of the League of Assassins in terms of Batman. They don't really have very much of a connection, except for one mention from Talia al Ghul, saying that she has an old friend in Gotham City, or actually an old foe in Gotham City, probably Batman, even though Batman was not around in Gotham City when she mentioned that, and when she would have been put away in Slapside Penitentiary, but she probably does have some sort of connection to Batman, so that's what I'm going to do here. He joins the League of Assassins around 1995 and also meets Talia al Ghul, and then around the year 1999, he asks to leave, which Ra's al Ghul denies. Ra's al Ghul gives Bruce the same offer that he would later give Oliver Queen, like less than 2 decades later, but still a pretty long time later. But he gives Bruce the offer of becoming the next Ra's al Ghul, as Ra's sees him as a worthy student, but also to marry his daughter Talia. This would be around the same time that Talia leaves the League, now realizing that she will never become the next Ra's al Ghul. This makes sense, because at this point, this would be like around 14 years old, so that would definitely fit the timeline that we've been told that Talia left when Nissa was a little girl, or around that age. But obviously, Bruce Wayne declines this offer and instead challenges Ra's to a duel. Bruce defeats Ra's but doesn't kill him, but then that leads Bruce to being free from the League. Now free from the League, Bruce Wayne sees that he is ready to take on the Gotham City criminals, and in the year 1999, he begins his crusade as a vigilante, but like the comics, being just a guy in a mask who has like no symbol or strikes no fear in the hearts of the criminals, it doesn't really work out very well, especially since if there's a lot of them and they all have guns, Bruce doesn't really stand much of a chance, even if he is able to take out Ra's al Ghul, and he is an incredible fighter. So Bruce, he walks into the Batcave in his house, and he remembers the time when he fell into the Batcave, you know, like the Dark Knight trilogy, also like when the New 52 was, when the comics were rebooted with the New 52, the origin story did take this same thing on, but Bruce realizes that bats are pretty scary, so this experience gives Bruce the idea to become a bat to strike fear in the hearts of Gotham's criminals. This is when he becomes Batman in the year 2000. Bruce reveals to Lucius Fox what he's planning, and Fox goes along with it, creating his bat suit, a lot of his gadgets, and even a Batmobile, and Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. So one of Batman's first missions as Batman, or one of his first fights, is against the Red Hood gang. The reason I say this is because in the year 2003, it's been established that the Joker was already a criminal, and based off of what we've seen, it's clear that the Joker was already a known criminal, which means that was probably at least his second time as the Joker. So I'm going to say that he becomes the Joker in 2000, and then he goes out as the Joker in either 2001 or 2002 as he fights Batman with some sort of plan, and then in the year 2003, he does what we saw in the first episode of Batwoman, Batman. He kidnaps a busload of children, and then Batman's pursuit of him leads to a car crash with Kate Kane, Beth Kane, and their mother Gabby Kane, which leads to the death of Gabby Kane, as well as the supposed death of Beth Kane, but she ends up surviving because Batman was unable to save them, but is able to save Kate Kane. That is the only time we ever actually see Batman. This is really the only thing that we 100% know about Batman, other than the fact that he leaves in the year 2015 in terms of the timeline, but I think this is probably around the time that the Joker is put away in Arkham Asylum. 2004, I think, is the year that Dick Grayson should become Robin, or sometime around them, as we already know that we already kind of know that Dick Grayson is Nightwing by the time Arrow Season 1 happens. There was a book released around the year 2016 that ties into Arrow Season 1, 2, and 3, but one thing we learned from this book is that the villain Guillermo Barrera was told to try to avoid people like the Hood as well as Nightwing. He was not successful in avoiding the Hood, as he was killed a couple minutes after meeting him, but it didn't seem like he went up against Nightwing. But this book kind of confirms that by the time Arrow Season 1 was airing, Dick Grayson was already Nightwing, so that means that he has to be Nightwing from at least 2012, but I would say maybe in the year 2010, Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing after a couple years of being Robin. Like between the years 2004 and 2010, he is Robin, but then in the year 2010, probably at the age of 18 or something like that, Dick Grayson leaves Gotham City, moves to Bloodhaven, and becomes Nightwing. Now, you can't have the Superman thing where he gets the name Nightwing from Superman, but he could definitely get the name Nightwing from something else, because based off this book, he already did. In the year 2006, as Batman and Robin are hitting the streets, fighting a bunch of criminals, some of them who are even costumed, the Joker is in Arkham Asylum and has been for around 3 years, until his psychiatrist Harley Quinn falls in love with him and breaks him out of Arkham. Harley becomes Harley Quinn and helps Joker fight Batman, and then after this fight, both Joker and Harley Quinn escape, and then later return a couple years later. Between when they return, Batman and Robin inspire Barbara Gordon to become Batgirl, and Batgirl joins Batman's team around the year 2007, but then in the year 2011, the Joker and Harley Quinn return, this time kidnapping James Gordon and paralyzing Barbara, which is obviously a adaptation of The Killing Joke, and I think that's something that should definitely happen or have happened in this timeline, which is almost definitely already confirmed, as in Arrow Season 4, we got a reference to Oracle, a reference that I think now, knowing the timeline, it does actually make sense that Barbara Gordon has already been Oracle, and that Felicity probably came across her online, knowing that she's a proficient hacker, but I think that by the year 2011, or between the years 2007 and 11, she was Batgirl, but then she got paralyzed in 2011, and then was Oracle from then on out. But in 2011, this fight ends in the Joker's escape, and he actually abandons Harley. Harley is then sent to Argus, and she joins the Task Force X, which is later named the Suicide Squad. We know that by the year 2014, not only is Harley already a field agent for the Suicide Squad, but she was already deemed too insane to go out as field agent, so she already went out, and then she was later not let out. So by the year 2014, she was already put away by Batman, already captured by Argus, so I think she probably was a member of Argus, or a member of the Task Force, and captured by Argus for a couple years, which is why I put this thing in the year 2011, as it works with Oracle, it works with Harley Quinn, and it works with Batman. Something else that I definitely think should happen around the year 2011 is Lucius Fox either dies or retired. For the sake of this timeline, let's just say he dies, because he doesn't seem to be anywhere to be found on Wayne Enterprises in the year 2019, or 2018 at least, but his son, after Lucius dies, takes over. Luke Fox in Batwoman is a character who already knew Batman's identity and worked for Batman, making him tech, gadgets, and even his Batsuit, which is definitely it's the exact same role that Lucius Fox had in the Dark Knight trilogy, and in this timeline that I just created, it is the same exact role that Lucius Fox did have. So I think around this year, it could really be any time between the year 2000 and 2015, but for the sake of Lucius Fox having at least some years, like a pretty long time at least, being behind the scenes and tech for Batman, I think around the year 2011 would be a good time for Lucius to either die or retire, or for the sake of this timeline, again, like I said, die, and his son, Luke Fox, takes over as the main tech guy behind the scenes for Batman, making him gadgets, weaponry, maybe even a Batmobile or upgrade or something like that, but definitely his Batsuit. Between the year 2012 and 2013, the year that Slade Wilson operated as the mercenary Deathstroke, he had a hit in Gotham that Batman attempted to thwart. I think because of Deathstroke's Mirakuru, Batman probably was not able to defeat him at that point, so Deathstroke went through with his hit. He killed whoever he was trying to kill, and then he obviously earned a lot of money for it, and then in the year 2013, he returned to Starling City to enact his revenge on Oliver Queen. But considering he's a Batman villain, I just wanted to place some sort of fight between Batman and Deathstroke, and that was really the only year, the year between 2012 and 13, that was possible. I actually think that something even cooler than that would be if also in 2012, Deathstroke also had a hit in Bloodhaven, and when he was in Bloodhaven, he crossed paths with Nightwing. Now, while Deathstroke is a Green Arrow villain and a Batman villain, those two are nothing compared to him being a Teen Titans villain and a Nightwing villain or a Dick Grayson villain. So, because I think that Deathstroke was a mercenary at the time, this would be a great time for him to have gone up against Nightwing. He probably was, again, successful in his hit in Bloodhaven, but Nightwing probably tried to stop him. That's just another thing that I did want to add to Deathstroke's path, or to Deathstroke's backstory, and to the Batman/Nightwing timeline. So between the years 2011 and 12, Batman has been going out by himself, as Dick Grayson is in Bloodhaven as Nightwing, and Barbara Gordon has been shot and is now becoming Oracle. But in that year, Batman is going out by himself until a street orphan named Jason Todd tries to steal the wheels off the Batmobile and is caught by Batman. Batman tries to help the kid stay off the streets and begins training him and even takes him in. And then later that year, maybe even 2013, Jason debuts as Robin. But then in the year 2015, enough time for Batman or Bruce to have some sort of emotional connection to Jason Todd, the Joker returns yet again. The Joker enacts this time a death in the family, killing Robin, and this obviously basically breaks Batman. He almost kills the Joker, but the fact that he almost broke his one rule, and the fact that he typically doesn't take death very well, Jason's death basically breaks him. This is why Bruce leaves Gotham City, and this definitely fits in the timeline, but I think this is the best reason for Batman to leave Gotham City. It could be that Bane broke his back, that's definitely a possibility, or that he just gave up, or maybe just the fact that he almost killed somebody, or maybe that he did. But I think the fact that if Jason's death and also he almost killed the Joker, that would, I think, be the best reason for Bruce Wayne actually giving up Batman and leaving Gotham City. And then, obviously, in the year 2018, Kate Kane becomes Batwoman, and also in the year 2018, Green Arrow, the Flash, and Supergirl come to Gotham to find the man who reshaped reality, and they end up teaming up with Batwoman. Also, a couple weeks earlier than that, Talia al Ghul comes to Gotham and is sent to Slapside Penitentiary, probably by Batwoman. Something else we can say is that between the years 2000 and 2015, Batman faces the likes of the Penguin, the Riddler, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Clayface, Bane, Mr. Freeze, Mad Hatter, Hugo Strange, and Scarecrow, who all end up in Arkham Asylum, even though characters like the Penguin and Catwoman, as well as maybe even Clayface, I don't think really fit Arkham Asylum. They would definitely go to Blackgate Penitentiary, as they aren't really insane, but maybe in this universe they are. It's really weird for Catwoman to be in Arkham Asylum, but anyway, all of those villains end up in Arkham Asylum, probably because they went up against Batman. But one villain who does not end up in Arkham Asylum is Deadshot, who has no real history with Batman, but considering he is basically typically either strictly a Batman villain or a member of the Suicide Squad, I think that Deadshot should have gone up against Batman, and very similarly to Deathstroke, it's very easy to make him do that, as a couple years ago, between the years 2000 and 2015, Deadshot had a hit in Gotham City, which Batman basically probably stopped, or failed to stop. I would say, considering Deadshot is not powered by the Mirakuru, Batman probably was able to stop him, or maybe he wasn't, because Deadshot probably, I think, had a perfect record by the time Arrow came around. But either way, I think Deadshot definitely, it's easy to make him go up against Batman in the past, and although it's not as easy, I think the villains like the Calculator, and maybe even Anatoly Knyzev as the KG Beast, or a member of the Bratva, definitely could have gone up against Batman as well. That whole timeline leads to the year 2019, in which Bruce Wayne left Batman and Gotham City behind. Kate Kane is Batwoman in Gotham City. Dick Grayson is Nightwing in Bloodhaven, along probably with Barbara Gordon, who is Oracle, probably also in Bloodhaven. And Jason Todd, who was Robin, is either currently dead or seemingly dead, but is definitely going to come back in the future. So that is my Earth 1 Arrowverse Batman timeline. I obviously took nothing from anything outside of the Earth 1 Arrowverse, so basically nothing from Earth 38's Batman, a character that does exist. Also nothing from Smallville's Batman, which is technically a part of the Arrowverse because, again, a different universe. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this timeline and what you would change about it. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.